feel stories. You know what I mean? But they don't remember facts either. That's the funny part. They hear them, but they don't remember them.
Hmm.
All right. And I say they, we, me, humans, we're all in the same damn boat. Makes sense? Ain't no different. All right. Today. Full sales process. Bryce, I kind of have an idea, man. Like kind of break it down from intro, right? To kind of just break it down maybe in fourths.
Yep.
Would you say the script is more three or four pieces? Four, right?
Like the script that we practice for our release presentation
Yeah.
intro, right? So I call that the intro because it's not just getting started. Then we
Yep.
have, you know, then we have client worksheet. Then we have building the value or building the plan and then writing the application. So yeah, four.
Okay.
Intro.
So intro, why, correct? Why,
Yep.
client worksheet, and then basically I want to say five pieces, application and close.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, close application. Yep. So five.
All right.
Yep.
All right. So yeah, guys, we're gonna roll through these in this fashion. Okay. So let's first start with intro. All right. And it's not gonna be, we're not gonna talk about here's what you say. You guys have what to say. We're gonna talk about like what the words that are there, right? But really the objective. Okay. This is gonna be a overview of the whole process, but the objective of each of these pieces. Okay. So intro, right? If I say who is here, let me see who is live direct. Monique, all right, you're just getting rolling. All right. So if I said intro, right, what would you want the intro? What's your understanding? You're looking at the script, you've been practicing it. What's
Mhm.
the purpose of the intro?
Um, to attract them long enough to keep them on the phone.
Okay. So I'm just gonna write some points down. Keep them on the phone. Okay. Anything else?
Um,
And anybody else, if you guys want to put stuff in the chat here, let's just make this pretty interactive. Okay.
I mean, of course, it's introducing yourself, but
Okay.
yeah, I think
So
that
introducing yourself, let's just let them know who you are.
let them know who you are. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and that's kind of what I got of it. The intro is so important because that's the first few seconds you need to keep them listening. So that's kind of what I get from the intro, what I
Okay.
understand about it.
Setting the stage, Darren. Yep. Okay. So, boom, boom. Client worksheet, why client worksheet application. We actually have another piece in there. We have the structure piece. So I'm going to add, there's a sixth level. So after client worksheet, put structure. Okay. So intro, why, client worksheet, structure, application, close. Okay. So intro, let them know who you are, keep them on the phone. Um, with let them know who you are, that intro, I'm going to speak on some tonality stuff too, okay? The intro is what sets you apart from everybody else. All right, this is huge. All right, your tonality, your posture, and posture and tonality have to do with, well, your posture is going to be like you're the doctor, they're the patient. That's the posture. All right, however, you got to find that out. Let's get there, right? But your tonality is meeting the client where they are. Okay. If Mary picks up the phone and she is, hello? I'm not, hey, Mary, who you guys think Dom is like all the time, right? You're like, dude, he's always, no, 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 no. If it's, hey, Mary, I go, if it's hello, hey Mary, yeah, Mary, this is Dom. Mary, this is Dom. I meet her where she is. I'm still in control. I'm still the doctor, but I meet her where she is. Now, if he sounds like freaking Darren just got off a damn jackhammer, hello, then I gotta be, hey Darren. If I go, hey Darren, oh God, he's gonna smoke me. Does that make sense? So this is big. This stuff is not in the what you say. This is big. So intro, let them know who you are. How you're going to keep them on the phone is matching their tonality. That's the fastest way you can match, you can keep people on the phone. Is when they go, hello, you go, Renee versus hi, Renee. Or if they go, hey, hello, you go, hey, Steve. You meet them right there. If they got nasal nose, you got nasal nose. If they low, you low. You got to get really good at speaking differently. That's a skill. All right. You've seen people who do impersonations. That's a skill. They practice that. Makes sense? You know what I mean? They try it all the time. You got to get really good at being different people. All right. And then by the middle of the conversation, you bring them back to your natural state.
Mm-hmm.
It's really crazy. But like you'll hear Bryce, right? You hear Bryce at the beginning of the phone calls, you'll be like, who the hell is that? And then like by like 10, 15 seconds in, you're like, oh, there he goes. But he had to meet them where they were in order to get them where he can sell. Is this new? Is this good shit? All right, let's keep rocking. All right. So tonality is going to keep them on the phone. All right. And now let's go to let them know who you are. This is the piece to where we got to slow down. All right. So if I'm calling Bryce up, Bryce, hey, grab a pen and paper real quick, and I'm gonna let you give you all my information. Some of you guys say NPN number, don't say that, and you say national producer number, don't say that. Like they don't know what the hell that is. Honestly, I think some of the stuff, even if it's in the script, sometimes we set ourselves up for them to say, huh? Like, don't do that. Does that make sense? Like, if just go, hey, I'm gonna give you all of my business personal information so you know who I am. Nobody's ever gonna say, huh, after that. You know how many huns I get when I say national producer, or I'm gonna give you like, I don't need that. I gotta limit the huns. Okay. So I'm gonna give you I'm gonna give you my personal information here. All right. And I follow up with that. So hey Bryce, I'm gonna give you all my personal information. Grab a pen and paper, write that down. All right. Let me know when you have it. And while they're looking for that pen and paper, okay, don't be in a hurry to give them the information. Like slow down. Like talk to him, but hey Bryce, yeah man, while you're looking for that, and make a stupid joke like, dude, it's always hard to find a pen when you need it, right? Like I know how dumb that joke is, but it 100% of the time works, and 100% of the time people are looking for one. Makes sense? So just say it, all right, and then go, hey, man, you just never know like who you're talking to out here in the world. You know what I mean? Like I understand you're a vet, you're looking for insurance, but this is just to make sure that you know who you're talking to because there's a lot of BS going on out there in the world. And then because they're thinking of that stuff while they're looking for their pen, by the way, just so you know. So what you're doing is kind of being like you're just talking though. You're really not looking for a response. You're just kind of, giving them a little elevator music while they're looking for their pen. But it's quality elevator music. That's going to alleviate some concerns of theirs. You with me?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you're going to ad lib some of that piece right there, which is cool, whatever works for you. But remember, the objective is to get the stress. You want to get people relieved. Has anybody been on a call with a client and you kind of feel the air come off of their shoulders? Like you kind of feel like, wow, like they're with me now. Like I felt like we were against each other for a little bit, but now I feel like they're with me. Some of you have that I'm with you. I wouldn't say too late in the call, but it's so much later because you haven't built that relatability early. You know what I mean? I want that weight to come off that I know I'm closing early. And that happens when I'm doing that little small talk and stuff like that. All right? Like, hey, man, write this stuff down. All right? Because you never know. I'm going to shoot you over my picture and stuff like that. But you just never know. There's a lot of fraud and people doing crazy stuff out there claiming they help vets. But like, I really help vets. You saw that picture I shot you with all the little emblems on it. Those are all the branches we help. Even the Coast Guard, even the SpaceX, even the Space Guard. And they laugh. All right? I help them all. By then, now they're chuckling, laughing a little bit. Now, dude, now it's like, okay, I'm trying to front load on this intro as much human as I can without wasting time and making a friend. Okay? I think that's a better way to put this, because I think if I didn't say that, you may be stuck at the intro for 20 minutes. Don't do that. All right. I ain't looking to be there forever, but I am looking to guide them through this piece and use those dead zones, grabbing a pen, things like that, to help my cause, not just have silence or rush to it. I think that's the objective there of the intro. Okay. Any questions about the intro there or comments from anybody who sells 20 plus $1,000 a month?
The only thing I would
Yeah, I
add
got a
to, oh, I'm sorry, you
question.
got it there.
Hey, you're choppy, D. You sound like you on my internet.
Now I was gonna say, do you guys like send? Because hold on, let me see. No, I'll just ask later.
Okay. What you got, B?
Um, when it comes to grabbing the pen and paper, like part of that is figuring out whether or not this person is gonna rock with you, like Dom said. You know what I mean? And so I say, hey, do me a favor, Braley, grab a pen and paper. I just need you to write down my name and say license number so you know exactly who you're speaking with. If you're getting some pushback there, like I work with people who eventually like maybe they're doing something or whatever, but like that's how I know, okay, she's willing to get up out of her chair, go grab a pen and paper, like we're vibing, we're working together. You know what I mean? So that's how I tell, is this person worth staying on the phone with? Do I need to set an appointment with them, or are we good to go to start running an appointment? So it's very intentional. There's a bit of like psychology behind it. You know,
Yes.
like if you get all kinds of pushback, like address that. Don't move on. And we're gonna kind of, as we go through this, I'm gonna talk about like what I consider the non-negotiables of this script. Unless you can like give me a really good reason, like you're in a wheelchair or whatever. But like generally speaking, if you don't grab a pen and paper, or if you're giving me all kinds of pushback on that, it's gonna be tough asking for social and banking later. You know what I mean? So like use that as a non-negotiable of like, is this script isn't always about closing everybody.
Yeah.
It's about weeding out some people that maybe are going to waste your time. And if Bob is not going to go grab a pen and paper because he's going to give you all kinds of pushback on it, don't immediately just hang up. Like, give him a chance. But, like, maybe we need to set an appointment, or maybe this guy isn't worth spending time on the phone with. Does that make sense? So use that as a gauge of like, is this person willing to work with me? I probably my last, I don't know, 20 plus sales, like I can't think of anybody that hasn't grabbed a pen and paper. And I've had plenty of no sales also at that point because they're like, oh, I can't right now. Can you just do it later? Blah, 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 all this stuff. Okay, cool. Not a good time. We'll either revisit later or this person's it's not worth my time to try to get in a kung fu match this early in the call.
I just put in the chat, like, we gotta have non-negotiables. Okay? Like non-negotiables. They don't get up and write the stuff down. I'm sorry, this ain't a good time. You ain't taking this. My clients take this to write this down and take it seriously. Doesn't seem like that's you. Who knows? All right. Great, good stuff, dude. Intro. All right. And let's get into the why. Okay. We have the why. We get led into the why. Okay. And a why that's where you shine. Okay. And I don't mean you shine as in you're talking a lot. Okay. This is where you become very interested. Okay. You're interested in the client. You're interested in not just why you need insurance. That's not the why. The why is, how did we get here? Like, why are we here at 73 years old with no life insurance? Because a lot of times you might think the why is they don't have any, they need it. Boom, let's move on. No. I want to know why you 73 with no life insurance. That's going to help me close the deal way more than just knowing you don't have any, and I'm going to give you a solution to fill that void. You with me? So here is the flow. I got this from, when was this, dude? This was it Clint? It was probably 4 or 5 weeks ago. Somebody was on our Friday training, and they talked about who, what, where, and why.
Marisa.
Marisa. There we go. All right. And I've always dug into the why, but when she said that, it made it very palatable and easy for me to digest
Hmm.
when she said that. I was like, oh shit, that's what we've been doing. Okay, cool. So when you get into the why, a lot of us lead with our the beneficiary, right? Like, hey, so you put here, Bryce, that your beneficiary is Cassie. All right. Who's Cassie to you?
It's my wife.
That's your wife. Great. Um, how long you guys been married?
Um, almost 4 years now.
4 years, man. Right on. Where'd y'all get married at? Where'd y'all meet?
Um, met in San Francisco, got married in Central Coast in San Luis Obispo.
Got you. You died yesterday. What would she be doing today?
She probably have to move in with her parents.
Moving with her parents. Their parents got a big place?
Not for two other kids as well.
Two other kids. All right. And your kids, how old are they?
2 and 3 months.
2 and 3 months. All right. Boy, girl, two boys. What's going on there?
Yeah, two boys.
Two boys. Right on. And what do you do for a living?
I'm in construction.
You're in construction. All right. Right on. Right on. For a long time, independent, or
No,
how
I work for a contractor.
or for a contractor. All right. So it's like sometimes it's good, sometimes it's whatever.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, just depending on if we get jobs or not.
All right. So do you have something in place right now already, or do you have nothing? Like, do you have something through work, have some independently, or you got nothing right now?
No, I have an old 401k from like I used to work for more of like a corporate construction company, so I have an old 401k through them, and she's my beneficiary on that.
She's your beneficiary on that on the 401k.
Yeah,
Okay. All right. All right. All right. But as in life insurance, tax-free death benefit, you got any of that?
no.
No. Okay. Now, you're 43, is that right?
Yep.
All right. So 43 years young, you got a couple kids. I'm assuming this isn't your first time looking into life insurance. Why haven't you taken care of it yet?
Well, I mean, I had some through my job at my last job, so I guess I just never really considered. I know I paid into something there, but I recently started, working with this contractor, and I don't know, I just, I see ads for it all the time. I just haven't
So
really,
you had the insurance through work,
yeah.
right? Left that job, lost the insurance, and been uninsured for how long now?
Uh, about 6 months now.
6 months. 6 months. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Okay. And so if I'm hearing you right, does your wife work, or is it just you?
No, just me.
All right. All right. Yeah. So I thought that, but I wanted to ask because you said if you didn't work, she'd be at her mom's house with the kids, which is what you don't want, right?
Right.
All right. And you have the work insurance, don't have it. You have 401k, but that's for you to live on, right? You know that, and it's pre-tax. So before it gets to her, it's going to get whacked, you know? Um, and you want to make sure, do you own or rent your home?
We own
You own. Okay, cool. How much you got left on the mortgage?
from I think like 450,000.
450. All right. So yeah, man, if you don't make it home, yes, you will be doing that. And we got to make sure that if you qualify, find you something that alleviate that for her, the family, so that you keep the house and they don't have to move in with her parents. Is that fair?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
All right, cool. All right. And then get into it. All right. That was, I don't know how many minutes that was. Probably 5, 6, maybe 5, 5, 6 minutes of questions. Okay. But I knew who, what, where, and why what was going to happen to everybody who he takes care of. Okay. And why we are where we are today and how we got there. Did you guys pick all that up? So now I have a really clear picture of what we're doing today and why we're here versus, I just want to know how much it is or whatever, however you end up in some of these situations. Who, what, where, why. Sometimes it's the final expense person who is, they're They don't have that beneficiary, right? So during that why, you're kind of, so let's be that person.
Yep.
Okay. So, hey, Bryce, looks like here you put down, shoot, nobody here as your beneficiary. Who would you be leaving it to?
One of my kids.
One of your kids. Okay. Do you have one that you, like, if you died yesterday without the insurance, would have to pick up the pieces? Who would that be?
Probably my oldest daughter.
Your oldest daughter.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And is that because she's closer to you, or what's up with that?
Yeah, I mean we talk the most. The other two, I don't think they really like me that much anymore. So yeah, my oldest is the one I talk with the most.
Got it. Okay. So is your primary goal just to make sure the final expenses are taken care of, or even though the other two don't really speak to you, are you looking to leave them some extra money or something behind as well? Or are you just not trying to be a bill?
Yeah, I don't really want to leave anything for them, at least as it stands now. I don't know. Can you change your beneficiary later?
You can change it and you can do all that later. But my job is to help you cover the minimum to take care of your final expenses. Anything extra is totally up to you. But
Yeah.
no doubt we're going to take care of what a burial or cremation costs. Okay.
That's mainly just the final expenses.
All right. So just real quick, let's get out of the role play. With that statement there with the why, right? When somebody goes, I don't know, one of my kids and things like that, the best way to get to the real is, hey, you died yesterday. Who would have to figure it out today? Because you're going to lead them to a unequivocal. They got to give you an answer. You're dead, dude. You can't sit there. I don't know no, you know which one would.
Yep.
It's so important how you frame your questions. If you frame them the wrong way, you'll get some wild ass answers. Okay. So, any questions about the why? Who, what, where, why, and stay there. Become very comfortable there. It's uncomfortable. Okay. So I'm gonna throw you guys a curveball. It's you got to get comfortable doing this, but it is uncomfortable doing it because you're asking layered questions that a lot of times folks they ain't thought of, man. You know, to ask somebody, hey, Bryce, you died yesterday. What does it look like for Cassie today? A lot of you, that's going to be a tough statement, a tough question to ask. And that's okay. Accept it. It's fine. But but you have to do it. All right. And those things, the more confident you start asking questions like that and waiting in silence, the client's going to have to think, like, man, I think, okay, so and the follow-up question to that, they got a big enough house to take your wife in? No, not with 2 kids. Shoot. I mean, I could have followed up with, damn, so like they might be sleeping on the floor or like on the couch. Yeah. Do you guys understand how vivid some of those things are? You got to get vivid with your words and and during the why, right? The why is where you're painting a picture. Almost a nightmare. It ain't a dream. But like I said, I'm not the guy who makes people think they're going to die. It's not like we're not pulling up in the damn hearse, but we are talking to them as if death is real, right? There's an in between the hearse pulling up and death is real. Makes sense? Like, like we got to, like, we're right there. Okay. So, all right, client worksheet. Very simple piece right here. All right. How you get confident through the client worksheet is practicing the client worksheet on your own. Okay. You can't, it's just like applications. It is what it is, but I don't know how some of you guys first time seeing applications is when you're writing an application. That would freak me out. There's a lot of things that I'm very easygoing. I'm very unorganized. I just kind of go, but I don't step into things without knowing like that. You know what I mean? And just so everybody knows on here, every application that's electronic has a paper one that you can look at, or they have a demo that you can look at as well. Okay. So, because these are about repetition, applications and client worksheet is about repetition. And the more reps you get on how to ask these questions, which ones are connected to what? Make sense? Like, what does this piece have to do with this piece? And a lot of you guys, the first time you're doing this, so I implore you to please start like pick an application per night. Like, hey, tonight, Eagle Premier, I'm gonna look at the application. I'm gonna see what it looks like, how it works. I'm gonna look at it. I'm gonna do the demo on the America website. I'm gonna do the term one tomorrow night. I'm gonna do the HMS with ADB the next night. Oh shit, that's about the same as the term. But yeah, it is. Then you start finding these similarities within these things, and it's not the first time you did it with a client. Make sense? Like, this is the big piece. So this worksheet, practice with your family, practice with your people, and just roll through it and see what works for you. Because I'm not gonna do the client worksheet the same way you do it, probably. But all that matters is, do we get all the information? Okay. I don't care when you get it or how you get it. Just get it all. Okay. Get it all, because that is what's going to allow you to give a good assessment. Or if you're talking to your manager or whoever else you're working with, or if you're in live dials, that's the info that you're going to need to provide to whoever's helping you. All right. And so when you ask questions about what to write, and then people ask you about, hey, do they have insurance? And you go, oh, hold on, let me ask them. That's not a good look. That just means you sped the hell up, you didn't do the client worksheet, and you're putting the cart before the horse. Make sense? Slow down during the client worksheet. This is not the time to speed up. This is the time to intake them. They are yours. They are at your finger. They are good. They're good. Do you know what I mean? All right. So, and actually, hold on, not client. Let me go back here. I'm sorry. Client worksheet. Structures before client worksheet. All right. So, but client worksheet, what I just stated is still true. All right. But that structure piece can get wordy. I just thought of this, Bryce. I was like, you can actually take the structure piece, put it in Chat GPT, and then it will spit something out to you that probably summarizes it. I don't know. Like, whatever works. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't care. All right. But that piece, if it's wordy for you, because whoever typed it, it may not be wordy when they say it. Because the way their sentences roll and run on and things like that. But for you, it may sound kind of draggy. Okay. During the structure piece, it has to be clear, concise, and your point of that is, in the beginning, you set the table of who you are, all right, and what we're going to do up until. Okay, now this is what we're going to do as an insurance. Okay, how I'm going to find your best plan, what I'm going to do there. Now we're going to need your banking. We're going to need your social. We don't need it right now, but we will need it if you qualify for the insurance. Bryce, I need to know that you don't have a problem finding that information and giving it to me if we need it. Okay? Like, the structure piece, without the structure piece, structure and why, I believe, are the spine of the telesale and maybe sales in general. Okay?
Well,
Why?
I'll give you an example. Like, I used to get caught up on, like, people would pick a plan, but then would hang up on me or get confused once it was time to turn that picking an option into an application, simply because I didn't tell them during structure that we were going to be submitting an application. Or if I missed, hey, we're going to be doing this. This is all based on your health. We're going to go through some health questions. If I didn't tell them that, then they get frustrated when it comes to that, and I start asking them about all these health questions. Like, wait, you didn't tell me this. So this is just literally setting the stage. So for everything that you need to do to get to the end point, you've already told them that we're going to do. Does that make sense? So there's no confusion. And kind of to our same point of earlier, sometimes people will not proceed with an appointment here because of something you say that they don't like or whatever. Like, that's okay too. Like, this is also letting, like, this is the non-negotiable stuff that we have to do to get them from A to Z. We're not just quote givers. If anybody's new on here, like, we don't just give quotes. We go through all of these steps to get to the point for them picking a plan to write an application. So if they give us some pushback on, I'm going to go through health questions with you, I'm going to ask you about your budget, I'm going to do this shopping around for you. Then we're going to find a plan that makes sense to you. Then we're going to spin an application. Like I'm telling you what we're going to do, so there's no confusion when we get to that point, right? So it's literally setting the stage of here is the process for me helping you out.
Huge, 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 huge. Questions about structure? No?
The only thing I'd say about structure is it's one of those things that you may need to refer back to a few times, or it's okay to maybe bump that up earlier in the script if you need to. And what I mean by that is if you get questions about who you are and what you do, like how you can help them, that's basically what structure is saying, right? So like, well, I want to shop around. Hey, Dom, I'll remind you, I'm a broker. I work with every single insurance company. So I go through this health questions to see which one you qualify for. So basically, I do the shopping around for you. Does that make sense? What company do you work with? All of them. I have access to basically every insurance company. I go through these health questions that help find which one is best for you. So like what the structure piece is actually also your rebuttal to a lot of objections.
Yes. Yes.
You know what I mean? So you may need they may start peppering you with some questions earlier in the call that you need to refer to like structure and let them know who you are and what we're going to do. Or later in the call, if they get some objections, this is who I am, this is what we're going to do. Right? It's literally like laying like this is it right here, right? So super important to not only articulate that to them at that point, but just know that it's something that you may need to come back to at different points in the call as well. Sometimes you just need to reword it a little bit or make it simpler.
Just like we said, slow down during the why, we're going to slow down during this piece. And what I mean slow down doesn't mean have a big conversation and, it's just articulate. Okay? Articulate. When it says, my job is just to help find the minimum amount of insurance you need to make sure your beneficiary has at least that and make sure it's a no-brainer and fits your budget. Like that's my job. Help you find the minimum. What that does is take away, man, they're going to try to slap me over the head with like stuff I don't need. Right? Now in their mind, they're thinking, God, he's really going to service the minimum that I need. There's no reason I should go any lower than that. Okay. Another piece during structure, it says, after we find the company, you will build out your own plan and how much you want to spend to the penny. And from there, I just send the request into the insurance company as a full application to make sure you get the green light and get approved. Sound easy enough? The reason I read that piece is not for what I said was the last piece, is the question. Okay. A lot of the times I was not getting engagement, Brayley, from my client during the structure piece. I was just yapping and confirming what I was saying myself. I was Pac-Man-ing myself, And what I started to realize was like, oh God, I need buy-in. And I remember I saw a training by Easton Patton and he goes, you have to make sure they respond. This is a question for them and it's not rhetorical. And for some reason, I thought it was just rhetorical. I thought it was just like, oh, we're just assuming that they're answering that and I'm just kind of keeping it pushing. Get the answer. So when I go, hey, hand pick 2 or 3 companies that fit you the best. Sound easy enough? Yep, that sounds good. All right, cool. All right, awesome. If we get that part, you see in the script, if is highlighted, it's bold, right? If we get that far, put a lot of emphasis on that. All right. The insurance company is going to ask you for the same information as they would at a car dealership, social, how you're going to pay for it. They're going to check, but the only thing is they don't check your credit. So don't worry about that. You can add that in there too. A lot of our clients are worried about their credit. Make sense? So just let them know like, oh yeah, dude, they ain't going to check your credit at all. And so don't worry about that. If it was based on credit, nobody would have life insurance, by the way. And they laugh. Okay. And that right there could have lifted a little concern off of their shoulders. A little ad lib there. All right. I wanted to make sure you had access to all that. All right. On the script that I'm looking at right now, it has in quote or in parentheses, it says, get a response here. A lot of times we don't get a response. And then we wonder why we took an application and like, oh, they pulled out. I'm like, dude, they never said yes and they never said no. And in the court of law, that's no. Does that make sense? Like that ain't gonna fly. You'd be like, oh, they never said yes or no. Well, that means you shouldn't have done it. Does that make sense? And the same thing here. It's like you gotta get that clear yes, that clear no. All right. Now, so we went from intro to the why, structure, client worksheet. All right. Now it's down to the application. Let's application time. When you're getting into health questions right now, you've already done all your your pull. When you get through the client worksheet, you've already talked to your manager, you've already went to insurance toolkits, you know where you're going now. Okay? I'm not going to spend time to figure out like what to write. It's not a part of this. But once you get to the application, it's be assumptive. All right? The worst thing I see is once people get to the damn application, they start asking the client questions like they got options. You know what I mean? Like, don't ask them like they have options. Like, ask them like that's what you need. You know what I mean? Hey, what's your middle initial? Not, hey, would you mind, can I get your middle name? Like, no, don't ask like that. That's so weird. That's like I ordered pizza and then Domino's comes over to my house and goes, hey, bro, like, you still want the pizza? I'll be like, bruh, like, I haven't stopped looking at the tracker since I ordered it. Of course I want the pizza. Like, what you think? Like, yes. Like, so, like, they just don't make it weird for them once you get there. A lot of you be like, dude, why did they pull out? Dude, you made it weird once you got to the actual time to do it. Just go. Just go. Hey, middle initial? Great way to get into the application. This is how you get into the application. Client worksheet structure, boom, boom, boom. They said yes to all the structure pieces, right? Yes, that makes sense, Dom. That makes sense, Bryce. Cool. Bryce, take a picture of the front of your ID, text it over to me. All right. I need to verify that I'm speaking to the right person. Like I verified myself when we first got on the phone. This is the time where I verify you. All right. So take a picture of that, send it over to me. All right, and we can knock out this application. I'm in there. I'm doing the deal. Okay. Now we're talking about pitching prices and things like that on another training because that's going to take more time. Does that make sense? This is just the process of going from point to point to point to point to point. All right. So you're going to just start the application, get in there, have all your carriers up too. If you don't have it, just have them all up. All right. You don't want this lull between client worksheet and you logging into shit. All right. You lose stuff then. All right. Like if things start to get bumpy before you get pertinent information, it's bad. If things get bumpy after social banking, who gives a shit? Like they gave you, they're already open, bro. They're on the cross. Does that make sense? Like before that, it's like, hold on, dude, you better not get too bumpy. All right. Don't tell me, hold on, you're having trouble logging in. You better already figure that shit out. Make sense? So be logged into all of your carriers. When you start your shift at 8 a.m., log into 100% of your carriers. Okay? Or have them ready. I'm just like, it doesn't hurt you to do that. I'm telling you, it's going to help you more than it will hurt you more than it will hurt you way more if you don't than help you if you do. All right. So, ID is the initial how you're going to start the application. Send me over your ID. Cool. Then you start at middle initial, go through the stuff. I was hearing now, if it works for you, it works for you. Lacey, she asked the medical questions as right as they're written. Okay. She also sells $20,000+ a month. So I say, do what you do, boo-boo. Make sense? But for me, I'm not doing that. Okay. So if you're comfortable doing that and it's work, cool. All right. I'm a lungs, liver, heart, kidney. All right. You got anything major going on there? You got COPD, things like that? Bro, I'm not asking the guy, like, dude, he's 72 years old. Like, is he really skydiving and jumping out of planes? Is that what he's doing? Make sense? Like, I'm just, you know what I mean? So we have to be, but you can brief over them. Hey, do you plan on going on any skydiving and things like that? But not one at a time. Like, blow through it. Hey, if any of this stuff is you, speak up. All right. If any of this stuff pertains to you, speak up. All right, COPD, emphysema, cancer, yada, 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 yada. Within the last thing, I'm not saying omit it. I'm just saying it's the way that you structure it can get boring for the client if you don't know how to move. Like there has to be some type of tempo during the application process. And if your tempo is click, read, you're going to lose people. Bryce, what do you have to say to that? Because during the I think that's huge.
Huge. I mean, especially with like the health questions as it pertains to that, like if you've already asked them all that stuff, if you ask them again, they're like, dude, you already asked me this. Like they're not looking at your computer, the difference between your application versus your client worksheet. And your head is like, no, I asked you those questions in the client worksheet. Now I have to ask you them on the application. Like if you already know they don't have COPD, don't ask again about COPD. You know what I mean? And so because yes, there's a flow to it where um I share this, I said this again on the call the other day where it's just like tempo and flow and keeping the client engaged is important. You know, like you could have had somebody that during the why is like crying to you, thanking you for how much this is, how important this is to them, and then during the application saying, "Hey, when is this going to be done?" You know what I mean? In your head, you're like, "Damn, dude, I thought we were good. Like I'm saving, like I'm helping your daughter, and now you're asking me how quickly we got to get this done." But that's how our clients are. And so you just got to be aware of that and don't don't make the application a 30, 45-minute thing if it doesn't have to be,
It doesn't have to be.
you know?
Yes. 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 Because you're going to have to pivot and make enough things like it's going to happen. You know what I mean? And we aren't the end all be all underwriter. The insurance company is. You know, so just take that for what it is. But I was talking to Lacey the other day and I was like, girl, like don't take whatever I'm telling you right now, just take it with a grain of salt. Just so you know. Okay? Just take it with a grain of salt. This may help you go from 20 to 40 though. Make sense? You know, because you probably taken that long with the people you don't close to. And that's the piece. It's not the ones that takes you so long with the ones you do close. It's that am I taking that long with even the ones that I don't close? Now that's the problem. My no closes need to be like 15, 20 minutes or less. If my no closes are 45 minutes plus, 30 minutes plus, I did something, identified something. I negotiated my non-negotiables. If my no closes are over 30 minutes, I did some things I shouldn't have done. And there's some red flags that I said, I'll be okay. But if you recognize all the red flags, you're off the phone in 13 minutes, 7 minutes. Do you know what I mean? But it takes some time to get there, though. Don't be in a hurry to get there. Don't be in a hurry. All right. So application is about tempo and repetition. All right. So do all the demos. And now the close. Okay. The close is really about when you find that solution, right? So you identified the solution before you started the application, right? Like we identified that. Now I got to wrap that up to close it, right? So I think the close starts when I start the application, right? Like or when I get the okay from structure in my mind, oh dude, we're already starting we're starting the downward movement. Like we've already passed the climax. Does that make sense? A lot of you, the climax is, oh, I showed price. They said yes or no. I'm like, no, that ain't it. That's not the climax. The climax is, did they agree to your properly sound structure and infrastructure that you laid down for them? That's the beginning of the close. Okay? And we're going to build on that to get to the final recommendation. Okay? So we're in the application, they get the first check, boom, boom. Okay? They get the checkbox, green, whatever carrier you're with. They get the pre-approval. You know what's up. If it's Corebridge, you know it's guaranteed approval. Cool. We can start that close right when we start the application. Okay? You know what I mean? Like that's when it starts. So I'm gonna go. All right, Bryce. So it looks like the minimum that we discussed. You wanted burial, 15,000. That's a no-brainer. We can definitely take care of that. Now, anything above that, Bryce, that's where I'm going to need you to let me know where to go because you want to be buried. Is that correct?
Right.
All right. We both came to the conclusion that no less than 15,000 is what's going to do that, right?
Yep.
All right. So anything above this number that I'm going to share with you, you let me know what you want to do, but this is the minimum we're going to start at, Bryce. 15,000 is only 127 bucks. Okay. Today is the 8th. All right. That would come out probably about 2 days, the 10th or so. All right. And then reoccurring come out every 8th of the month. All right. Knowing 127 is the minimum, Bryce, would you want to go any more than that, or is that perfect for you?
What's 25,000?
25? That's going to bring you to about 195, Bryce. Just call it 200 bucks.
I can do that.
All right. Is that something that, without a shadow of a doubt, like the AC goes out in the middle of August, it's hot out there, man.
Mhm.
All right. If it goes out, you ain't gonna be calling me going, hey man, I need to cancel this or anything like that. That 200 is unshakable. With whatever life throws your way.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, cool. All right, let's knock that out. And you said you were with Navy Federal, right?
Right.
Navy Federal. I'm gonna pull up a routing number because I'm with Navy Federal as well. Little sidebar, you guys. I'm with EverBank therewith. Okay, if I can be. Don't say that like you have state employees credit union if you don't live in North Carolina. But if there's like big nationwide banks, it's definitely you should be just relate to them with some of that. Does that make sense? Or even if it's a bank you don't have, say, oh man, I've heard of them, even if you haven't. Okay, stuff like that's going to allow them to feel more comfortable with giving you the information. All right. So Bryce here, man. So I'm going to pull up a Navy Federal routing number, and I need you to confirm that we have the right one. Okay. Let me know when you get that.
Okay, I'm ready.
You ready? All right. 256-074-023. Is
Yep.
that what you got?
Yeah.
All right. Cool. What's the account number?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Okay. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. Cool. We're going to validate that. Perfect. Everything came back good. Hey, you're going to get one more code here at the end to wrap everything up. Let me know when you get that. It should be to you now.
Okay.
Boom. All right. Give me the code, yada, yada, yada. Boom. From there, now, all right, I'm letting them know, all right, man, you've been approved. Everything's all good. This is the dates that it's going to come out. I reiterate that. I've already said, hey, the 8th is going to come out on the 10th, but I say it again. Okay. And then I start educating the client on what else is out there. Bryce, can you talk? You're very good at this piece. Okay. How do you educate your client after you closed? You got their banking, you got everything that as a new agent, you thought that was your job. Okay. How do you protect your business now? This is a very important 1 to 2 minute dialogue he's going to share with us. Huge.
Like the wrapping up the sale.
Yes, like you know what I mean? What else is out there? Who's going to call them? You know what I mean? Like to protect what you sold them.
Yep. Sorry, Dom. So as soon as we get off this call, I'm going to send you both a text and an email just as a summary of what we applied for so you can have it in writing. But just as a quick recap, this 25,000 of coverage. It's permanent. Price is never going to change. Coverage is never going to change. Payout right away when you die. Okay, so there's no waiting period or anything like that. And the reason that that's important is because when we get off this call, you're going to get more calls probably. I can't control that. You're going to see more stuff in the mail. And again, if you ever see anything that says like guaranteed acceptance, no health questions asked, anything like that, what that means is that your plan is automatically put on a 2-year waiting period. So God forbid if you were to die within 2 years, then it actually wouldn't pay out the full amount of coverage. They would only basically return to you what you had paid into the plan up until that point. So that was really my value to you, Dom, is to help you get approved for that immediate coverage that does not have that 2-year waiting period. Does that make sense? And other than that, again, we're going to get off the phone and you're going to go about your life. You're going to see all kinds of stuff. If you ever see anything else out there that looks different than what we set up today in terms of price per coverage, it's fair for you to maybe have a question about it, but just make sure you call me first because there's all kinds of stuff out there and it can be very deceiving or confusing, whether it's accidental only or the ad and fine print at the bottom says, you know, it's a 10-year term for a perfectly healthy 17-year-old female. And you're a 73-year-old male with, you know, diabetes and cancer 10 years ago. So obviously your coverage is going to be different, right? So just letting you know, you're going to see stuff out there. I'm always here for you. If you ever get any calls from any other agents claiming that they're my manager or, If, they can get you a better plan or anything, just refer them to me. All right. Do you have any questions about anything that we just did? And then I'll go into cool. You're going to get a policy in the mail. Usually takes about 5 to 10 business days. When you get it, take a look at it. Let me know if you have any questions about it at all. I'm always more than willing to go over anything on that with you. And then the biggest, most important part of my job, Dom, is making sure that on the day that this is needed, your family has somebody to contact to help make sure a claim gets filed smoothly, check gets delivered, everything like that. So of course, I'm always here for you. But more importantly, I'm going to be here for your family when you die to make sure they get the money as fast as possible, because that's the whole point of this. So just make sure you make a note in the policy of my name and phone number so your daughter knows to call me on the day that they need this so I can help her with all that. Make sense? So that's how I kind of bring it back around about what we just did. Like bring it back around. The whole point is the death benefit for the daughter getting the money in her hands. Like I always leave them with that. You're muted, Dom.
Fire, dude. All right. So what if Carol says, what if they don't give you their checking account number? What do you do there?
If they say I don't give banking info,
Yeah.
um,
So Carol, when during the structure piece, right? If this is where I don't get a lot of that anymore, but I did get a lot of that when I first started. And it was purely because my structure was weak. And people don't want to hear that. Like you don't want to hear that. I know some of y'all right now is like, nah, my structure, all right. But when you're stuck, when your structure is strong, you don't get to that piece and they say that. Because what I hear all the time is I did say that. And then you get to the banking piece and they don't give it to you. I'm like, dude, you didn't say it strong enough then. You didn't make them feel it. You were just kind of reading it, I guess, and they kind of shrugged it off and you just kept it pushing. Makes sense because there's no way that somebody would say, absolutely, I'll be able to give you my banking information. I'll be able to grab that if it makes sense. And then you get there and they say, nah, I don't give my banking. There's no way that you could be super clear on this end and be total opposite on this end 7 minutes later. Now, I could be a little shaky and unclear, and in my mind, I think I'm being forward, but I'm not. So, Carol, the only way that you get there, it's going to happen, right? But I promise you, as I started to stand on business a little bit more, as the youngins would say now, stand on business. All right, that you don't get there when you stand on it the right way. So same thing with if you don't stand on it during the who you are and sending over your license info and being very clear about that, you're going to later on get a lot of, I don't give my social. I don't like to, well, the only reason you would do that is if you didn't trust the person who you were talking to. And that's my fault because it was up to me to give you my first impression as best as I could.
It's kind of one and the same, Dom, like you're saying. Like, when you first start out, that's your main objection is try to get a social on a banking account. But then eventually you get to the point where your structure, like you were saying, is so good that if somebody was like, oh, I don't give that out, it's almost like a shock to you because you set it up so smooth that like, what are we doing on the phone? 10 minutes ago, I told you everything that I was going to need, right. And then you mad at them.
Just right there. I love hearing it from you because you were just there. Like you were just there. Like you just start hitting this epiphany of like, oh, damn. You know what I mean? Like I am in control. So no, that's huge. That's huge. And I like sometimes you just don't hear it. You go, man, but I promise you, man, just sit on this structure, slow down during the why, slow down during the structure. And a lot of the things that you believe are the issues will be alleviated. But it comes at reps though. All right. And I can't wait for you guys to sit back and go, dude, I remember when you said that, this wasn't a problem. And when I did it, at that time, dude, I was getting that same objection 10 times a day. I'm like, I know, dude, isn't it crazy how things change? You know what I mean? You just got to trust the process and roll with it. Good stuff today, everybody. All right. I know we went a little bit over. Hopefully this was jam-packed with things that you can re-listen to, implement, and make this week your biggest week. All right. We're in week 2 of July. Great time. People are still kids are out of school. People are moving right now. All right. So let's just don't slow down. This is a great time to be an independent contractor and the best time to be a Family First Life. And I shared something in the chat today, just to let you know, there's how many people are just basically knocking on our door to work with us.
Crazy.
Like I get calls every day. Hey, can I work with you guys? Hey, can I like what's going on? I hear these things like people I know personally and people who are just complete strangers. And I'm like, dude, Family First Life is really becoming a household name. It's a household name. And don't miss the wave. All right. The first wave was missed. This is the second wave, and the second wave is humongous. If you look at businesses, dude, the second wave is always bigger than the first. First wave gets you on the max. Second wave gets you like massive. And that's what we're a part of right now. So thank you for all of you for being a part of this, rocking it out. And we'll have numbers for everybody through 4 weeks coming out here soon. We just got to clean them up. There's a lot of stuff that was missing. So we'll get those things cleaned up and get them out. And again, appreciate you all. And Bryce to get this thing out. Bryce, thank you for getting these on YouTube, getting the thumbnails, getting all that stuff out. I'm looking at the views. There's a ton of views. There's some videos.
People are watching them, yeah. I don't know if you guys are random people out there, but people are watching.
Yeah, like, dude, you guys just keep crushing it, man, because somebody's watching them and somebody's putting them into play. So appreciate it. Later, you guys.